I realized the other day I ruined my career the day that I had my son. I absolutely demolished everything that I had worked my ass off for. And it's ruined. And on top of that, he's been sick for like the past 4 months. He has another ear infection. So now I have to miss more work, more time away from my job. Like, I'm about to lose my job because I have a sick kid. What the man? And if you were ever like, oh, I'll just be a single mom, it'll be fine. This is what it's like. This. This is being a single mom. Everybody have a great day. Fuck.
Crashing out. They crashing out. And the reason that they crashing out is because I keep telling y'all, it was a woman that did an imitation of me the other day. And she said, this is what Anton was saying. And she showed a little piece of the picture. And she said, yeah, go back to your baby daddy. That's my new slogan. Go back to your baby daddy, man, because y'all ain't built to handle this by yourself. Even if the child, for example, was healthy, because this woman is diabolical, in my opinion, for even posting this on the internet. And I don't know if she's looking for some emotional support from people that she don't even know on the screen. I don't know if she's looking for likes. I don't know if she's trying to get monetized, but I always like to leave the link in the comments in order for y'all to be able to link in with the person or whatever, right? But the point is that diabolical, because when you're basically showing that you resent the son for a decision that you made because the son didn't ask to be here in the first place. And I hold men and women accountable, and I say, hey man, listen, we do need to update family court laws, but you're going to have to be a little bit more careful about who you vet, because if we holding women accountable for who it is that they sleep with in order to have children before they get married, in most instances, and 95% of the instances, then we got to hold you accountable too. But at the same time, you can't sit here and cry over spilled milk. You can't sit here and complain about a situation that you put yourself in. Did you think about this before you was busting it open for a real one and you had your legs wide open? You said, I want to have your baby? No, you didn't have that conversation. You didn't think about it. You made a split-second decision, and now you're having regrets, and talking about the consequences of becoming a single mother. Well, there's a lot of steps that happen before you get to this point. The first step is, why are you talking to this dude in the first place and you know he ain't no good for you? Most of the guys that are having children out of wedlock are the same dudes that's populating the majority of the women out here in the street. So, I'm pretty sure you had an idea of what this guy was, if he wasn't already a baby daddy. Now, we're going to make a few assumptions here because it's necessary, but that's the thing that we do. We stereotype. We are like CSI investigators, right? We are chasing serial killers. It's the same thing on the show, Mind Hunters, right? We have to profile so that we can come to a conclusion. That's number one. Number two, obviously, we're using our context clues from the video to determine. And she admitted that she was a single mother, so we're going to determine that you did not have children within wedlock. Flag number two. Flag number three, having sex out of wedlock and then making sure that you get pregnant, because we have multiple forms of contraception so that you prevent yourself from being in this situation in the first place. Number four, because you are not having children within wedlock, then we have to draw the conclusion that you need to have a significant amount of resources in order to do so. And you poor. And how do we know that you're poor? Because you're sitting here complaining about your career being ruined as a result of you having a child, which your number one purpose is to nurture and to make sure that you take care of your child. How does a woman not have a bond with a child? It is confusing to me a lot of times when I see women and looking back on it in yesteryear. And I remember going to school, and I didn't have to deal with this situation because, I came from a strong two-parent household, family, structured church. Everybody was married, great father, brothers, the whole 9 yards, right? So I am blessed in that way. And I don't even want to say that I'm privileged or lucky because those are choices that my parents made to make sure that we were raised the right way. And it ultimately is a similar choice that I made with my daughter, right? So um, it's interesting to me because y'all choose to have children out of wedlock. You're too poor, honestly, you're too poor to be sitting here even complaining about it. And I remember again that I was growing up and I would see the latchkey kids in elementary school. Those were the kids, which it's so funny because I wanted to stay after school. Like, oh man, they over there having a good time. They over there partying with extra teachers and stuff like that. And not doing nothing serious. They not even doing no schoolwork. You telling me they just get to party? I want to be in latchkey. Not knowing that I was trying to get myself in a situation so that I could be looking stupid with the room 9 kids. But looking back on it, latchkey was a thing. Latchkey was popping. In reality, latchkey was a bad thing because it's another form of daycare where you were allowing other people to be able to raise your children instead of you. So as I grew older, I made the decision that once my wife had a child, which she's now 17 going on 30, once my wife had a child, then working, especially during the time that she was not in school full time until she went to school full time, is out of the question. We wound up staying with that and it just worked out beautifully. And so it was absolutely the best decision that I've ever made in my entire life. But working was out of the question. And we had to make sure that we kept the family together so that was the thing that benefited my daughter the most. And I didn't even really start breaking out until after my daughter got of a certain age. And then she started driving. And that's when we got the studio and all of that. Because I'm like, okay, I could be away a little bit more, play some away games like Stringer Bell on the Wire and all of that. But I don't know how y'all are going and skipping past all of these different steps. Vetting the guy, having sex without protection, not getting married, then you choosing to have a child, you choosing to get pregnant. I just learned the other day it's only like 6 or 7 days out of the month that a woman can get pregnant. So choosing to get pregnant, then choosing to have a child, knowing you don't have the support system, I'm assuming that they're being watched by somebody, either a daycare or your grandmother or something like that, right? So you got all of these things going on. And then you want to sit here and say, oh, it's ruined my career because I became a mother and my son is sick regularly and he's still a little kid. He's still a little baby. Your career is taking precedence over your son? Now, I understand you got to work and provide because you skipped all of those other steps that then made you a single mother in the first place. But whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Like, when are we going to be honest about ourselves and take accountability and responsibility for the situation that we put ourselves in? That's all I'm asking. Nothing more. Nothing more. I don't think that that's a big ask. I don't think that that's out of the question. I don't think that we should be jumping out the window over that ask. When are we going to take responsibility? And then they want to blame the kid and take it out on the kid. That's when it starts to become abusive. That's when you start to become a son husband. That's when you start to be neglected because you remind me of your deadbeat father and all of this stuff. And it's like, this is generational curses being passed from person to person to person to person. And it's bad. It is. It is a horrible situation. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy because, it takes a very strong person to break out of it and to remove themselves from these generational curses. But I wish her well. I hope everything works out. I'm assuming that maybe she was just venting because, it's difficult and it's hard out here in these streets. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I want to know what y'all think inside of the comments.